Welcome to today's debate on the U.S.-China tariff war, a pivotal conflict shaping global trade. Each team gets exactly 1 minute per round to present arguments based on evidence, reasoning, and clarity. 5 impartial AI judges, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, DeepSeek, and Microsoft Copilot, will score each round to ensure fairness. This debate is professionally structured and written by ChatGPT-4 for a high-impact, unbiased experience. Prepare for a fierce and thoughtful exchange. Let the battle begin. Round 1.
The United States labels China a threat, yet it is American greed that created dependence on Chinese manufacturing. China lifted over 800 million people from poverty through strategic economic planning, not reckless tariffs. The so-called trade war isn't about fairness. It's about preserving U.S. hegemony. America's tariffs have backfired. Costs for U.S. consumers skyrocketed, businesses collapsed, and inflation worsened. Meanwhile, China diversified exports to ASEAN, Africa, and the Belt and Road partners. Who's adapting? China. Who's scrambling? The U.S. The real war is America's war against its own economic mismanagement. Facts, not feelings, dominate China's rise.
China exploits global systems it refuses to fairly participate in: theft of intellectual property, forced technology transfers, and subsidized dumping. Tariffs are not aggression, they're defense. American workers were being crushed by unfair competition. Since imposing tariffs, the U.S. revitalized domestic industries. Semiconductors, EVs, and steel rebirth. Companies like Intel and Tesla have returned manufacturing stateside. Inflation, not caused solely by tariffs. China's slowing economy, youth unemployment of 20%, and real estate collapse prove the communist model is rotting. Tariffs are America's righteous shield against China's deception.
Round 2.
Let's be clear, China's GDP growth, even post-COVID, remains at 4.7%, dwarfing U.S. growth. Tariff war? Minor turbulence for China. U.S. farmers lost $28 billion, 0 cents due to Chinese retaliation, requiring government bailouts. Meanwhile, China ramped up internal consumption and regional trade through REP Tesla. Tesla, Apple, and Starbucks continue to bet heavily on Chinese markets, not Kansas or Kentucky. China's economy is not collapsing, it's transforming. Clean tech, AI dominance, and 6G breakthroughs. America talks about resilience. China builds resilience. The numbers scream. Tariffs hurt America more than they ever dented China.
Chinese data is about as reliable as their promises in the South China Sea. The truth? Foreign direct investment into China plummeted 35% this year. Major brands Nike, Adidas, Samsung are fleeing to Vietnam and India. U.S. inflation is easing, wages are rising, and the dollar is stronger than ever. Meanwhile, China faces demographic decline and a shrinking workforce. America innovates, China copies. In the long run, the tariff strategy is about breaking dependency. Short-term pain, yes, but it's a small price for long-term freedom from communist economic manipulation.
Round 3.
The 20th century belongs to those who build bridges, not walls. China inked the world's largest trade pact, RCEP, while the U.S. whines about TPP they abandoned. China's Belt and Road Initiative spans 150 countries, binding economies to its sphere peacefully, no military bullying like the U.S. China trades, America invades. Nations from Brazil to Saudi Arabia now trade in yuan, diminishing the dollar's supremacy. Tariffs only accelerated China's global outreach, while America looks inward, isolationist and bitter. Leadership isn't about threats, it's about attraction, and China is winning that game.
The Belt Road Initiative is collapsing under debt traps and shoddy infrastructure. Nations like Kenya and Sri Lanka are drowning in Chinese loans. The U.S. is building real alliances, USMCA, with Mexico and Canada, tech partnerships with Europe, and the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. China's so-called peaceful rise comes with a side of espionage and military intimidation. Just ask Taiwan or the Philippines. America may have withdrawn from some deals, but it's forging partnerships based on transparency and democracy. Tariffs are the necessary firewall against Chinese authoritarian capitalism, infecting the world economy.
Round 4.
Huawei, Baidu, and BYD are shattering U.S. monopolies in 5G, AI, and EV sectors. China filed 40% of the world's patents last year, a lead America can't ignore. While the U.S. debates banning TikTok, China is launching quantum satellites and building the world's fastest supercomputers. Semiconductor sanctions? China responded by developing 7nm chips domestically, shocking American analysts. Innovation is fueled by challenge, and the tariff war forced China to achieve tech sovereignty faster. America weaponizes trade, China weaponizes progress. The scoreboard is innovation, not intimidation.
Quantity isn't quality. China mass produces patents that often lack real-world value. The U.S. still leads in Nobel Prizes, leading startups and blue sky research. AI breakthroughs like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude originate from America, not Beijing. China's tech sector is stifled by censorship and authoritarian control. You can't innovate when free thought is criminalized. OpenAI, Tesla, Microsoft. China may have tech ambition, but innovation without liberty is like a tiger with a chain around its neck. Tariffs slow down China's unfair tech dominance, preserving global digital freedom.
Round 5.
History bends toward those who adapt. The U.S. clings to declining 20th century dominance while China eyes the future. With BRICS expansion, alternative financial systems, green energy leadership, and a 21st century Silk Road, China isn't isolated. It's reshaping the world order. Tariffs? Temporary noise. The future is multipolar, not American unipolar. The U.S., trapped by internal division, debt, and declining global trust, will face irrelevance unless it learns cooperation. China does not need to win by conquest. It wins by momentum. And momentum, my friends, is irreversible.
China's so-called momentum is slowing under the crushing weight of its own contradictions, authoritarianism, corruption, and population collapse. America's resilience shines through technological renaissance, energy independence, and demographic vitality thanks to immigration. The world doesn't want a Beijing-centric future of censorship and surveillance. It looks to America. Flawed but free, tariffs are just one tool to buy time for democratic allies to rally. Freedom, innovation, and transparency will ultimately crush any authoritarian experiment masquerading as inevitable rise. The future belongs to open societies, not closed systems.
After 5 rounds of intense and insightful exchanges, and following a careful, impartial review by our AI judges, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, DeepSeek, and MS Copilot, today's debate concludes with Team Blue pro-China, earning a well-deserved victory. Both teams showcased exceptional arguments and critical thinking, making this a truly engaging and thought-provoking discussion. We'd love to hear your views on the China-US tariff war. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this debate to spark more conversations around the world. More exciting debates are on the way.